Hello, everybody. This is Darren, Redmond for Redmond's Wrap-Up, brought to you by FHT Sports. It's November 30th, and we are going to preview the Mountain West Championship game between Fresno State and Boise State. Both teams ranked in the top 25 in the nation. So this is a legitimately big matchup. Ask yourself this. If you are a salesperson, sales manager, whatever you do in corporate sales, in the corporate lifestyle, for example, and you are the top 25% in your whole company, you're feeling pretty good. So yes, this isn't Alabama, this isn't Georgia, this isn't Clemson, this isn't the next NCAA champion Notre Dame, maybe. But this is a very important matchup, highlighted by the fact that both teams are in the top 25. It's a rivalry game, but more importantly than that, surpassing the fact that it's a championship game and a rivalry game, this is a vengeance game. Most on the Fresno State sidelines, most on the Fresno State locker room, most of the Fresno State supporters don't think we gave the game away. Quite frankly, Boise State in their last matchup did exactly what I thought they would, and I expressed it on this vlog, that they were going to run the game clock down, whether they were throwing or passing, that they were going to run north-south. And that's what they did. They kept the defense on the field so they couldn't adjust. Tedford couldn't make last-minute changes on defense, or his team couldn't make last-minute changes on defense. Quick to the line. Showed some things that they said that looked like they were going to do, and then changed out of it. How does Fresno State win this game? And I think they will. First, as John Wooden talks about, and I'm a big believer in it, do your job. Let the coaches analyze the film, and when necessary, look at some films, look at some tendencies when you're playing against a person or you're playing against a scheme, because a lot of times you're playing against a scheme. But at the same time, if you do your job, limit the penalties. Can't have 7 offsides or holding or whatever. We know there's going to be, especially in Boise, like that 4th and inches, and you can't blame that, but if you leave it to the refs, there's always going to be a problem. So you have to win convincingly. It's like the old boxing when they actually win 15 rounds, right? You didn't just have to beat the champ by a little. You had to beat the champ. So if you're going to have a couple of ticky-tack fouls, you know that. But the key for Fresno State is this. 4th and 1, 4th and 2 from the 49, 48-yard line. Go for it. Go for it. Break their will. Don't play safe, but don't play aggressive where you're not thinking ahead. So, a couple of run blitzes on defense, a few stunts. That may help, because if they're going to run north-south, and I'm going to tell you what I think that Boise is going to try to do. And I was right last time, analyzing this thing, spent it into a couple late nights this week, because I think you as the Fresno State fan are worth getting an informed, and not saying other people aren't informed, analysis of what's going to go on. Fresno State can run this ball. I see getting Mims involved a lot more than the last game, because just to change it up a little bit, see some different things, some different tendencies. Mims gets moving, and we saw this in the game a couple of weeks ago, where Mims came in, changed the pace up a little bit, and good things happen. Marcus McMarron is very careful with the ball. Offensive line, there's no reason to feel the need to hold. Because what they're doing a swim move and they're doing stunts. That's what you're seeing from Boise State, swim moves and stunts. And you're talented enough to get that done. I see a couple of delayed draws this weekend. Some delayed draws where we will use, or Fresno State will use, the aggressiveness. Let's see who this is. Where we will use the aggressiveness of the Boise State defense against them. And that usually slows down that pace. I see some slants, and quite frankly, I see Keyshawn scoring two different touchdowns. One from like the 5-yard line, just a quick to the flag, and then do what he does, where he runs sort of a post into a slant deep, beats the coverage, especially if they're in a 2-deep zone. I see that. But the key to beating Boise is going to be on defense. They think they're going to be able to run north-south on them again. But I don't see that happening. I see the DBs, and again, we heard that from Tedford last week, work from back to front, not letting anybody get behind them. So what Boise is going to try to do is exploit that, try to get chunk yardage, 2-3 yards at a time, run the play clock down so we can't make defensive adjustments. Fresno will be ready for that. I see some stellar play from the linebackers because this game will be won by the linebackers. And we have the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. We have a lot of good things on defense. If our defensive line just can hold its own, occupy the linemen. Understand what I'm saying here. That doesn't mean that the defensive line needs to make the big play. It'd be great if they do. But just occupy the linemen so the linebackers can make the big play. Stuff the run. Tip ball interceptions and things like that. So I think this game gets won on the defense. Specifically, the linebackers for Fresno State will help win this game. I see a 10-point win by Fresno State. I think Tedford has probably had a couple of sleepless nights in a good way, wanting this game again. I think we're fortunate not to play Utah State, not because we can't beat them. I think we can. But let's exercise some demons this weekend. Go to the Mountain West. And hopefully UCF loses, and then what bowl we go to is up for grabs. So what do you think? Let me know. Please subscribe, share our content. FHT, we're growing. We're looking forward to covering this game. We're also going to be at the men's basketball game against Cal Poly. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think the score is going to be? And tell us why. This is Darren Redmond from Redmond's Wrap-Up, brought to you by FHT Sports, and we'll talk to you soon.